Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. All right, we are back to preview the round of 16 and talk about what happened over that first weekend in the round of 64 and 32. And honestly, we got a lot of predictions right. And I think most people did, honestly. It was pretty chalk, not a lot of shockers over the weekend, but I think that's going to make for a really good rest of the tournament. I know people were a little upset saying college basketball is dead, NIL killed it. Honestly, I'm not ready to say NIL did anything to college basketball. I think we still don't know yet. I think there's been years like this in the past where the teams at the top are just so good you don't get that many upsets, and that happens. And you look back, pretend before NIL, right? A player gets an opportunity to go to Duke or Drake University, they're going to go to Duke. So NIL doesn't necessarily change. Of course, it makes it a little harder. You have more incentives, but it was always tough. It was always going to be tough for the smaller schools. That doesn't change. If it was easy, it would have never been madness in the first place. So I don't think NIL has killed college basketball yet. It may be in the future. If this keeps happening, maybe you're right, but I'm not ready to call it. And I think, like I said, this makes for a really good rest of the tournament because we've got 12 out of the top 16 teams in KenPom left in this tournament. And it wasn't all chalk. You had a player like Sturts on Drake University. He carries his team past Missouri, who had a great year in the toughest conference in the country, the SEC. So you still have players like that. They just go underrated or undervalued, and they don't get the NIL deal, and they end up at a school like Drake, and you see Drake get a win in the tournament this year. So even though it is a chalk year, you still have little upsets like that. And there was two things that we definitely got wrong, two of my predictions. The ACC has been horrible. Louisville, Clemson, they never had a shot. It looked like they never stepped on the court. We got those completely wrong. And then Arkansas. I didn't think Arkansas was going to get a win. Now they're in the Sweet 16. Good for them. Good for Coach Cal. They took St. John's by storm. I don't know what happened there with St. John's. They take out one of their star players, R.J. Lewis, with 5 minutes left to go in the game. He's just going on his own path. I don't know what happened to him. He's going crazy all of a sudden. 5 minutes left in the game. Biggest game of his life. R.J. Lewis for St. John's playing against Arkansas. He looks lost out there. And he gets taken out. His team goes down, and now Arkansas in the Sweet 16. So that's another one we didn't see coming. I'll be in person at tomorrow's Sweet 16 game for Texas Tech versus Arkansas, so we'll see if they can keep it going. And then the Maryland game versus CSU. That was tremendous. We got a little buzzer beater. Some people said it was a travel. Shut your mouth. Don't talk to me. Don't look at me. Never want to watch a game with you in my life. That was not a travel. We had some other ones like UC San Diego versus Michigan. That one came right down to the wire. UC San Diego got the cover, but they weren't quite enough for Michigan. And then we had some Pac-12 after dark with Arizona versus Oregon. And I was telling my friend who went to Oregon, I thought his Ducks were in trouble.
Look, tomorrow, dude. Arizona's going to Hezzy, stand your feet, one. Oh, what? All of a sudden, your team sucks, and Arizona is raining threes in your mouth and in your ass. What are you going to do? Nothing. Get fucked.
Arizona did end up being a little too much for Oregon. But yeah, let's jump right into the round of 16. Starting off with BYU versus Bama. Bama is 5.5-point favorites. And I'm honestly not sure why. I mean, I get you're the 2 seed, but they didn't look impressive at all versus St. Mary's. It looked like both of those teams didn't score for 10 minutes. Probably one of the worst sporting events I've seen in my life, St. Mary's versus Alabama last round. And every time I watch BYU, it's art. It's amazing. That kid Igor, he's going to the NBA. He never misses. This kid Igor on BYU, I'm telling you, you got to watch him. It's insane. But yeah, BYU makes more threes. They shoot the ball better. Both these teams, though, have a top 10 offense in KenPom, so we could be seeing an over. Next game, Maryland versus Florida. I'll be at this game. This is a good one. I hope it's going to be a good one at least. Florida can just overpower anyone, but I think Maryland at their best, that Crab Five, the group they've been calling each other, they've been there for a while. Derek Queen from Maryland, they can beat anyone on their best day. So I'm hoping it's a good one, but obviously Florida can blow out anyone. Arizona versus Duke. This is going to be either the Caleb Love game or Duke just kills Arizona, because Caleb Love is going to have to do everything in his power. He's going to have a perfect game like he did versus Oregon. He's going to have to drop 30 points for Arizona to win this game. So yeah, Arizona's only chance is if this is the Caleb Love game. He's done it before. Caleb Love played on North Carolina. They eliminated Duke when he was there. Can he do it again? We'll see. That's a great one. Moving along to the next one, it's Arkansas versus Texas Tech, and Texas Tech is missing one of their best scorers, Chance McMillan. It does not look like he's going to play. He hasn't played yet in the tournament, and no one knows what's wrong with him. All we know is that shit hurts. That's what we've heard. Arkansas, they play the better defense. They're athletic enough. They can give this Texas Tech team problems, especially if McMillan doesn't play. I'll be at the game, so I hope McMillan plays. I think it'll be a better game if he does. Arkansas, they might be going to the Elite Eight if McMillan doesn't play. Ole Miss versus Michigan State. Ole Miss has a top 25 offense and defense on Ken Pom. I had Michigan State in my Final Four on my bracket, and I haven't been that impressed yet. I mean, they've played a tough New Mexico team, so it's reasonable that was a somewhat close game. But I think this will be their toughest test, and Ole Miss could give them problems. This will be a better game than some people think, and this could put my bracket in jeopardy for sure. Hopefully Michigan State edges it out. Kentucky versus Tennessee. This is another really good one. In-conference rivalry. These guys have already played twice this season, and Kentucky won both times. It's tough to beat a team 3 times, though. That's why I'm going to take Tennessee. And if you look at the stats, you're like, okay, but how did Kentucky beat them twice? The first game they played, Tennessee was 3 of 18 from 3. Kentucky was 12 of 24, 50%. The second game they played, Tennessee was 11 of 45 from 3. And Kentucky, again, 12 of 24 from 3. So both games they played, Kentucky shot 50% from 3. And I think Tennessee got caught up in trying to beat them at their own game. Tennessee cannot shoot a bunch of threes like they did earlier in the season versus them. 11 of 45 from 3. 3 of 18 from 3. You're not going to win the game. Tennessee has to play their style ball. Just defense, swarm them, fast, quick, vertical. That's Tennessee. Can Kentucky shoot 50% from 3 again? And is Tennessee going to shoot below 15% from 3? We'll see. I think Tennessee is going to win this one. Tough to be a team 3 times, and I think Tennessee will not just jack up a bunch of threes. So, yeah. Michigan versus Auburn. Can Michigan keep it going? They've looked incredible. I think this is when Auburn really turns it on, though. I think this is when Auburn really shuts up the noise, because some people think Auburn is the weakest 1 seed left, and that they've kind of just gone progressively worse as the season has gone on. I think Auburn's going to show up big here and make a statement. And Houston-Purdue. I've got Houston winning the whole thing. They barely scraped by Gonzaga. Or they were in control, so it's, I guess, tough to say scraped by, but it was close at the end. Gonzaga had a chance to tie it up at the end, go to overtime. Wasn't able to do it. Horrible possession by Gonzaga. And then Purdue. Their offense has looked incredible. Purdue's got one of the best point guards in the country. He's probably the best in Braden Smith. So this is another really tough one for Houston. I'm going to have to take Houston. I have them winning it all. This could be the best game of the round of 16, Purdue versus Houston.